This video reviews how to use the grams of carbohydrate, protein, and fat in a food to calculate the amount of energy in kilocalories provided by each of these nutrients when someone eats that food. It also reviews how to use this information to calculate the percentage of total energy that comes from each energy-yielding nutrient in the food. Suppose your client eats a high-protein energy bar for breakfast each day, and you would like to see how the energy nutrient composition of this bar compares to the recommendations. The package tells you that this bar contains 29 grams carbohydrate, 20 grams protein, and 9 grams fat. Note that the abbreviation CHO is sometimes used for carbohydrate because C, H, and O are the chemical symbols for the three elements in carbohydrate: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. To find out how many kilocalories come from each of these nutrients, we need to multiply the grams of the nutrient by the kilocalories per gram. We know that there are 4 kilocalories per 1 gram of either carbohydrate or protein, and 9 kilocalories per 1 gram of fat. Multiplying 29 grams carbohydrate by 4 kilocalories per gram gives us 116 kilocalories from carbohydrate. Multiplying 20 grams protein by 4 kilocalories per gram gives us 80 kilocalories from protein. And finally, multiplying 9 grams fat by 9 kilocalories per gram gives us 81 kilocalories from fat. Now that we have done these calculations, we can see that about the same amount of energy comes from the protein and the fat in this bar, and somewhat more comes from the carbohydrate. We can also add the calories from each energy nutrient together to determine the total energy provided by the bar. 116 plus 80 plus 81 equals 277 total kilocalories. Since this high-protein energy bar is your client's usual breakfast, you would like to compare its energy nutrient composition to the acceptable macronutrient distribution ranges, or AMDRs, from the dietary reference intakes. That means you need to express the amounts of energy you already figured out as percentages of total energy, since that is the way the AMDRs are expressed. Now that we know how many calories come from each nutrient in the bar and the total calories it provides, we can use the formula shown here to calculate the percentage of the total calories provided by each nutrient. For example, 116 kilocalories from carbohydrate divided by 277 total kilocalories gives us 0.419, and we multiply this decimal by 100 to get about 42% of kilocalories from carbohydrate. We can follow these same steps to calculate the percentages for protein and fat, first dividing the part by the total, then multiplying by 100. So this client's breakfast provides 42% of its energy from carbohydrate, 29% from protein, and 29% from fat. If you add these percentages together, it totals 100%, which confirms that you've done the calculation correctly. We can also see that this breakfast is a bit low in carbohydrate as compared to the AMDR of 45 to 65% of calories, but falls within the AMDR for protein, which is 10 to 35% of calories, and the AMDR for fat, which is 20 to 35% of calories. I hope this video of performing calculations related to calories and percentages of calories was helpful.